Hello, and welcome back to the Miller Halftime Report. My name is Andrew Upkenorth, and I am representing the Northeast corner. We are laying the debate to rest today between the NFL and NBA and which is more popular. This topic is very important because each sport brings huge amount of revenue to each city that it represents. The NFL and NBA are everywhere in the US, and even if your state doesn't have a team, doesn't mean that you won't support one. They have become our nation's pastime, and the debate is on, NFL or NBA.
Why don't we start with the sport that was made official first? On August 20th, 1920, football was created. Football was originally a form of rugby, and the first football game was nothing like today. Originally, you would have to kick the ball, and it wasn't until later in the game's development that passing was implemented. Football grew into our new national pastime. When the Super Bowl hit the scene, however, that's when the game's image truly changed. Super Bowl Sunday has become like a national holiday.
The NBA was officially created in 1949 on August 3rd, originally the BAA. The NBA today is still pretty much the same old game, except for no more short shorts. It consisted of 17 teams around the country and now has 30 teams all over the country.
Our null hypothesis for this test is NBA preference is equal to NFL preference, and our alternative hypothesis is NBA preference is not equal to NFL preference.
We used Facebook to test our hypothesis, retrieving our values of location, sport, age, heritage, and sex. We chose this method because it was a clean and casual way to obtain a large amount of data. And when we went to the mall to collect information, we were kicked out.
We thought the NFL would be more popular because of the country's love for the game. The celebrities and professionals of the sport are just as entertaining as the sport itself.
Having a career game, Steve Johnson wears an undershirt to the press. Come on, man. Come on, man.
Our data is categorical with a 74 NFL preference to 26 NBA preference results.
For our first topic, we chose to engage NBA versus NFL cities. This might show some correlation of how many people each pro sport reaches out to. We see that the NBA reaches out to 30 cities while the NFL reaches out to 32, and this may have an effect on how many people prefer one sport to the other.
Our second topic is going to cover the average attendance per game for both NFL and NBA. Obviously, NFL stadiums are bigger and hold more fans, but we can see the actual numbers. We saw that the average attendance of an NFL game is 67,579 people, and the NBA is only 17,273 people.
Our final point, we think, may be our strongest point. We wanted to measure the viewers for the two biggest events for both sports, the NBA Finals versus the Super Bowl. The NBA Finals went 5 games last year and only reached 16.1 million viewers per game. That is about 80 million people for the entire 5 games. The Super Bowl, a single game, reached 108 million people. This may show the clear-cut dominance between the two.
People prefer a more physically demanding sport, where every moment can be a game changer. Anyone can argue in each game's defense, but it is clear that football is more physical. On the other hand, a lot of basketball players are beginning to fall unnecessarily after little or no contact in order to draw a foul. We refer to this as flopping.
We did not find any bias in our survey because it's based on people's preference on the two sports. It went along perfectly with our hypothesis. We thought the football would beat out basketball. The one thing that did surprise us, however, is when it came to the people from New York. Out of the 23 people that voted from the state of New York, 12 of them voted on the NBA. That is the most even spread in our entire data set. We can relate this to our data about the cities each sport has. New York has 2 teams in each sport, but both football teams play in New Jersey. Can the opportunity of going to the games sway the voters' choice? Another statistic we looked at was race. Out of the 100 people we surveyed, 65 of them were Caucasian. Out of the 65 Caucasian, only 8 preferred the NBA to the NFL. We believe that basketball is a much more urban sport, with more diversity in the inner cities and more concrete. Football can become less likely played in the inner city. You see most of the NBA players are African Americans, raised playing basketball on those inner city basketball blacktops. We believe you can draw a conclusion on your race and location to which sport you would prefer. Another statistic we tried to correlate was age and preference. This study turned up no correlation whatsoever. So we conclude that your preference can be determined based on where you are and how you grew up, but not how old you are.
We have come to our conclusion that we are going to reject that hoe like Dikembe Mutombo.
Not in my house.
So this sums it up with the NFL mopping the floor with the NBA fans. Sorry LeBron, this is one title you're never going to be able to get. Thank you all for watching.